Hello everybody and welcome back to yet another video here on my channel. If you've seen my most recent one, Sapphire Star, then thank you so much. And if you haven't, go check it out after this video is done. It's so awesome, I can promise you that. Now, we've discussed two of my OCs. Okay? We have discussed Aspen Sky and Sapphire Star. Today, we're not discussing one of my OCs. Well, I mean, yes we are. But we're also going to talk about how they're a self-insert OC. So we're going to actually draw two characters today. We are going to draw, obviously, Mudskip, my OC. And, no, not Mudskip, Onyx Feather, my OC. And Hollyleaf. Obviously, Hollyleaf is an original character from the books. Here we are going to draw Mudskip. And we're just going to do this. We're going to if we scroll through here, here's Mudskip's character reference. Just pop him up there real quick. Okay, so let's have a look at him. Okay, so we're going to start first by just quickly patching up this drawing, as I always do. Now, Mudskip. He is a self-insert character into the World of Warriors, and he is obviously a ThunderClan cat during the Power of 3 arc. Now, he is born as Mudkit at the same time as Hollykit, Lionkit, and Jakit. He is immediately friends with the trio, as they are very quickly growing close. He doesn't know about their secret. No one in the clan does at this point, but he can tell something's off. They don't look enough like their mother for him to assume they are hers. So, being curious, he tries to figure out whose they are. And as we find out later, Hollyleaf, Jakit, and Lionkit, Hollyleaf, Jayfeather, and Lionblaze are Leafpool kits. Not. They were never, Squirrelflights. Now, he realizes he looks a lot like Squirrelflight, but he doesn't think anything of that. His mum actually was a rogue, so it was a little curious when he came to the clan looking exactly like Squirrelflight, and for a while a lot of the clan seemed to think she had had an affair with a rogue. She hadn't, we know this, but it did seem for a good long while that, she had. And no one trusted her in the clan for a little while. And this was before the secret was found out. Now, this is obviously an AU. This never happened canonically. But let's continue. Upon becoming an apprentice, instead of he got Firestar as his mentor, which a lot of the other apprentices were very jealous of, rightfully so. It took a long time for them to start adjusting to the fact that he was the leader's apprentice. But none of the other apprentices seemed to really want to accept it. And this really, really upset him. he and these cats had been friends for moons at this point, and they were ready to just give up their friendship because he was the apprentice of the leader. And that's probably what hurt most of all. He hadn't asked for it. He never had. He never wanted to be the leader's apprentice. It was too much pressure. Yet here he was, hated for it. And yet here he was not wanting it. It took moons before the others finally forgave him. But by then the damage had sort of been done. He no longer wanted to be friends with them. Their biased and angry views towards him for no reason had driven him to hate them. And this would take moons to remedy. But he never found out about their secret. Not on purpose, anyway. He heard one day that, they weren't Brambleclaw's kids. Didn't believe it at all. It didn't make sense. I mean, surely they were Brambleclaws. They acted exactly like him. They couldn't be any other of Tom's kids. Squirrelflight hadn't been with any other Toms within the clan. But as we know now, she wasn't with another Tom within the clan. They weren't Squirrelflights. And sorry for the pure amount of spoilers in this video. You kind of need to get the lore to these cats before I can tell you more. So, there she is. Okay. Quickly grab the darker colour off here and add in the details. So, while Hollyleaf and Jayfeather had found out about their powers, obviously now Mudskip was feeling very left out. He never had met his parents and he wondered who they were, and this is where things got interesting for him. Turns out his parents were the same as Soul's. He only ever found this out because he met Soul first, before any cat from the clans. And, well, they looked too much alike for it to be hidden. They looked far too much alike to not pick up on it. And so after a lot of deliberating, he brought Soul to the clan. It wasn't Hollyleaf, wasn't Jayfeather, wasn't even himself. Soul was brought to the clan by Mudskip. This is where the problems really started. Mudskip was upset that his friends had just abandoned him, without even telling him why. He didn't know about the prophecy, so he was very, very frankly upset that his friends, or at least who he thought was his friends, had seemingly ditched him. So, what was he gonna do? He was gonna get revenge. Any kid would. Now, before anything could happen, the secret was revealed, and the clan went into chaos. He was secretly glad that the secret was out. He now had something to use against his friends, and it all seemed a bit wrong. No cat quite knew what was wrong with Mudskip. He had always seemed to be such a loyal, bouncy, happy little thing. And yet here he was, so very glad that his friends weren't who they thought they were. It wasn't fair. He thought. It was never fair that they had gotten all the attention. So why should he not be happy now that instead of attention, good attention, they were getting hate? Secretly, despite all this, he was still upset. They were still his friends, of course. That's when Sol revealed to him the prophecy. He didn't want to believe he didn't want to believe his brother at first. But after a little while, a little bit of deliberation, he decided, yeah. Then he was given his warrior name in the midst of all of this. Firestar, who had completely forgotten his warrior ceremony in the midst of the chaos, granted him the name Mudskip because he had skipped a couple moons of warriorship. This wasn't a name he enjoyed. And then Ashfur died. See, he was close to Ashfur. Lionpaw's mentor. Blaze's mentor. He had to get used to that for a long time after it happened. But Lion Blaze's mentor died right after he and Lion Blaze fought. Now, everything had calmed down by this point, but it immediately went back into chaos as Lion Blaze was found to be not guilty of the crime. Immediately all thoughts jumped to Wind Clan, the border on which the body had been found, but there was no proof. Wildcat tried to push Firestar to attack. He couldn't, not without proof. A lot of the cats were angry at this. There was a dead cat, on their border. Surely that was proof enough. But no, it really, really wasn't. And, well, having been this great leader's apprentice, Mudskip knew there was nothing any cat could do to change Firestar's mind now. So what did he do? He kept working. When Greystripe was captured, when Brambleclaw... But then something unexpected happened. Brambleclaw, still the deputy, stepped down, saying he needed time to think after everything had happened. He wasn't sure if he could continue his duties while upset at Squirrelflight without making her do the worst of the chores. It was very noble of this cat to step down. And so Mudskip, no apprentice, became the deputy. He never, thought he deserved the role. Never in a million moons would he ever deserve the role he was given. But he got it. And was he going to abuse this role? No. Was he going to treat the clan well? Yes. Was he a little upset at the life that had been effectively stripped away from him by taking the role? Yeah, a little bit. But there was nothing No Cat could do, so it was all a matter of waiting now. Mudskip has always worn a purple bandana after that day. He died many moons later. A green cough. But, yeah. He got deputyship. He got everything. And then just lived to die. Little did any cat know, there was a prophecy about him too, prophesying that he could have been one of the three. No one quite knows why it didn't happen, but it never did. And there is Mudskip for everyone. Now move. Right, so let's just quickly. Okay. So, who have we got now? Creamed Apple. Here's all the cats we've done. Creamed Apple, Sapphire, Star, and Mudskip. We're just gonna go do a quick. Nope, wrong bit. We're gonna go do a quick. Okay, everyone. Goodbye.